We're in the fifth and final week of our current series looking at our missions, our efforts to build God's kingdom and be a force for good beyond the walls of the church. This series goes to the heart of the purpose of the parish and what we even mean or understand to be the church. To be a community of faith supporting each other in faith on mission to share our faith. And sometimes in mighty, simple, entirely helpful ways, like feeding the hungry or providing a helping hand. Where do we serve? Well, the Lord himself told us. He said, "You will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea and Samaria, and to the very ends of the earth." 3 distinct commissions. Jerusalem, for us, refers to our own city of Baltimore. Judea and Samaria refer to having an impact further afield. The ends of the earth more or less remove any borders or boundaries to our mission efforts. We have 3 key strategies to help us fulfill that challenge. Strategy number 1, identify strong partners, people who are already doing good work and know what they're doing. Strategy number 2, build strong relationships with our partners. God is a God of relationships. We build strong relationships with our mission partners to honor God and to work more effectively with our partners. And strategy number 3, aim at transformation and development. We look for partners and projects that can be game changers. So in the course of this series, we've taken a look at what we're currently doing in the city of Baltimore, which is quite a lot. We've taken a look at what we're doing elsewhere in the nation. Last week, we looked at what we're doing elsewhere through Rebuilt Parish. Next week, we're kicking off a new series, which we'll be telling you about after communion. Meanwhile, if you've missed any or all of this series, you can always catch up on demand online. Today, we're looking at our history and current experience concerning global or international missions and what we hope to accomplish in the future. Currently, we partner with 5 different organizations in 4 different communities in 3 different countries: Nigeria, Kenya, and Guatemala. In Nigeria, we have partnerships with Faith Alive Hospital and Anawim Home Orphanage. Our association with both goes back about 15 years. Faith Alive Hospital is a full-scale hospital with 2 satellite locations offering free medical services ranging from HIV testing to surgical oncology to maternal care. In other words, everything, the works. The hospital serves tens of thousands of patients each year and employs dozens of full-time and part-time staff. Faith Alive is also a teaching hospital, helping to raise up the next generation of medical professionals in Nigeria. The hospital offers life-saving services otherwise unavailable for its patient. Only a few months ago, for instance, a set of triplets delivered via C-section was performed at the hospital. Thanks to the modern facilities and medical staff, mother and babies are thriving. Anawim Home Orphanage is a ministry offering shelter, social services, education, and faith formation to orphaned and abandoned children. Through their residency and outreach programs, over 400 local children have grown up in this safe, faith-filled, loving environment. In the past, we've sent missionaries to these communities, but the political and social upheaval in Nigeria in recent years has made travel impossible. Our current support is therefore prayerful and financial. Among our other forms of support, each Christmas, Nativity finances all the children's Christmas gifts and parties. A third partner is 410 Bridge. A Christ-centered nonprofit organization, 410 Bridge is helping to redefine the whole approach to poverty. Relying on indigenous leaders to set priorities, 410 Bridge and their partners then come alongside these communities, providing material and human resources to help the community achieve their goals. Once a community has done that and is deemed fully sustainable, no longer reliant on Western support, the community graduates. Last year, the community of Kew, Kenya, celebrated their graduation from 410 Bridge after 13 years of support from Nativity. Through our investment in that community, they were able to create access to clean water, build a quality education program for their children, and improve their agricultural development. Our investment in Kew not only impacts the 300 residents currently living in the village, but will continue to make an impact for decades and generations to come. Now our relationship with 410 Bridge in Kenya continues to deepen with the adoption of another community, a different community, the community of Ulu. This fall, we'll be sending a team to Ulu to discern next steps in the partnership with their leadership council. Another community we're serving is in Guatemala, again working alongside 410 Bridge and the community of Vista Hermosa, located in the western highlands of Guatemala. While in country this summer, our mission team will walk alongside their community, witnessing their work towards sustainability and learning about ways we can assist and support them. Our vision for our global mission program in the next few years, in the next 5 years, is to continue to support all our current partners and continue to send missionaries to walk with them and work with them whenever, wherever possible. We want our parish community to experience, directly or indirectly, the grace and favor that comes from traveling to these communities and discovering their joy and their devotion. If you feel a tug towards supporting our global missions efforts, there are a few ways that you can get involved. One, seriously consider going on a mission trip. Don't count yourself out automatically. If your health permits it, if your other obligations accommodate it, seriously give some consideration to join us on mission. It could be a life-changing experience for you, as it has been for others. Two, you can support our mission team as part of our mission home team. The mission's home team helps in preparing the teams for travel, providing transportation to and from the airport, and offering prayerful support throughout the mission. Or three, you can always support global missions and missionaries financially. As a parish, we do that by budgeting 1% of our income each year to support missions. But you can do more if you choose. Just contact our finance office. If you have any interest in learning more about any of this, you can text the word TRIPS to 88877. That's 88877, and a member of our mission team will follow up with you. If you're here on campus this morning, you can visit our mission display out on the concourse out on the colonnade after Mass, and meet with our mission team in person. In the gospel passage we read today from Mark, Jesus is teaching crowds about his Father's kingdom. Mark writes, "His mother and brothers arrived. Standing outside, they sent word to him and called him. A crowd seated around him told him, 'Your mother and your brothers and your sisters are outside asking for you.'" Family was incredibly important in first century Judaism. So the assumption here is that since Jesus' family has arrived, he'll interrupt his preaching and teaching and go to greet them. By the way, the reference to brothers and sisters concerns either cousins or step-siblings. The Aramaic language didn't have just one word or one specific word for such family roles, and they didn't bother always to posit such distinctions in conversations. In fact, we understand that Jesus didn't have any biological siblings. In any case, it was assumed that Jesus would just drop what he was doing and to spend time with his family. However, that's not what he did. Instead, he says, "Who are my mother and my brothers?" And looking around at those seated in the circle, he said, "Here are my mother and my brothers. For whoever does the will of God is my brother and my sister." Jesus' reply probably shocked, or at least puzzled his audience. But he's establishing an important principle for his friends and followers. All our earthly ties and relationships take second place to our relationship to the family of God. Even the closest bonds are secondary to our inclusion in that family. Through his life, death, and resurrection, Christ was establishing the family, whose members are united by the Lord in a bond of life and love far stronger than any blood relationship. It's a bond formed by a common mission. Some people love that we serve people far away. It's exciting to think that from here in Timonium, we can actually impact communities in Kenya, families in Guatemala, kids in Nigeria. Other people wonder why we serve people so far away when there's so many needs right here at home. Of course, it's never a question of either or. We're completely committed to our own local community of Baltimore, and will continue to do all we can do here at home. And meanwhile, we're willing to go very far from home, to faraway places, to love God, to love others, and make disciples. Take a look.
My name is Amy Rogers, Missions Director here at Church of the Nativity, and I'm joined today by Kurt Candler, CEO and co-founder of the 410 Bridge.
Hi.
So today I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about the 410 Bridge, mission, model, and our relationship with the 410 Bridge.
Sure. So the 410 Bridge gets its name from the book of 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 10. And 1 Peter 4:10 says that everyone should use the gifts that they've received to serve others, faithfully administering God's grace in its various forms. 410 Bridge exists because we believe we have to redefine the war on poverty. We have to redefine what it means to win it. We have to redefine what it means for the people actually living in extreme poverty. And I think most importantly, we have to redefine how we fight that battle together. We work in extreme poverty environments, rural environments, and we walk alongside entire communities of people who are struggling in extreme poverty for an extended period of time, 10 plus years. Because we're a holistic ministry, we can't be experts in everything. So we partner with other organizations around water or savings groups or child sponsorship. So we partner with other organizations, but we also partner with, very importantly, the North American Church. They keep us focused on the spiritual poverty that exists in the community as opposed to just the physical needs.
Can you tell me a little bit about what the partnership that we've had between the 410 Bridge and Church of the Nativity has looked like over the years?
Nativity partners with and walks alongside communities that 410 Bridge works in Guatemala, in Kenya, formerly in Haiti. The community of Q, Kenya is a great example. I mean, Q was a relationship community that we worked with for 13 years, which is a long time. And really through almost that entire relationship, Nativity was walking with 410 Bridge and the community on their journey of development until it came to the point where Q was ready to graduate. And graduation is simply a time when the community is doing more on its own than 410 Bridge is with it. And now we're ready to move on to other communities in other countries, in Kenya, in the community of Ulu, in Guatemala, the community of Vista Hermosa. And again, it's a long-term walk with that community that Nativity is doing, getting to know people and getting to help them on their journey of development. So we've done a lot of the preparation work with the leaders in that community, getting them to cast vision for the solutions that they see to their problems. Again, the problems that exist in their community don't exist in our communities, and the solutions to their problems don't exist in our communities either. Then mobilize and unify their community to go do for themselves. That's truly what development is. And in our relationship with Nativity, we see a variety of resources, people's time, their talents, prayer, financial resources that will walk alongside, really behind Ulu, as Ulu kind of leads the effort of their self-development work. And the same thing is in Vista Hermosa in Guatemala. The unique thing about Guatemala compared to Kenya is that we see in Guatemala the other side of the immigration issues that we're facing here. 50% or so of the households have somebody living in the U.S., and that is a really tragic thing in their community. It's destroying family. Women and children are left behind to care for the farms and all the activities that go on in the community. And so that's a unique thing that we're helping to address in Guatemala that we don't necessarily have to address in Kenya.
What would you say to someone who has a stirring in their heart, or maybe just the thought about traveling on a global mission trip?
I am in the camp of, how do you develop a healthy worldview of how to engage people struggling in poverty if you don't engage in the battle on the ground? I think in our country we have one of these issues of we want to help the poor without really knowing the poor. And almost uniformly, of the thousands of people over the last 20 years that 410 Bridge is engaged, people that go recognize that they got more out of that experience than they feel like they actually gave or served the people in the community. Now, that's not necessarily true, but people have gifts. Everybody in the church has a unique gift, and we're called, 1 Peter 4:10, to use that gift to serve others. This is how God administers one of the ways that He administers His grace to us. And you start realizing that the people that we serve in our communities want the same thing for their lives and their children that we do. They're just in a very different situation than we are. And we have the opportunity to be a catalyst for them self-developing and them changing. And so that's what we've loved about the relationship with Nativity for the past, I think, 16-ish years. It's amazing. It's been a great relationship over a long period of time. We're super grateful for it. Can't do what we do without churches like Nativity. And it's been a really, really good run.